As we center ourselves by taking this deep breath of God in deeply, appreciatively, and surrender to the breath by releasing, acknowledging this beautiful moment, God given, that lets me know that God is, the wonderful possibilities that each of us is allowing ourselves always to be open to is part of the unity consciousness. It's the belief in I am, we are. And so I know in this recognition, in this unity, with the privilege of declaring right here and right now, this beautiful Sunday service is everything collected in love, harmony, ease, grace, fulfilling everybody's desire to surrender to what is. So every word we hear, the musical note, the information, we are each willing to intake and let it just be, to help us be our greatest yet to be. So I know that I'm in great appreciation for all that has gone on to have this beautiful time this morning where we get to listen to the words Neil Hainer, minister to be, being the vessel that he truly is, every which way, receiving the words that he is delivering to us today. My heart is full. I'm in great, great gratitude. And I know you can join me in your own heart, mind, body, spirit, and say, and so it is.
We believe in spiritual living. It is a philosophy that urges us to focus on how to think and not what to think. It invites us to practice this philosophy and apply it to our lives right now by living with principles. A relationship with God is a personal one. We believe that God is all that there is. Every person, place, or thing is not only an expression of God, but God itself. God is the absolute presence that not only creates, but is itself all things. All the love, peace, and beauty is in each of us as the presence of God right now. I know this of you too. You are just as divine because God is within you as well. Together we are all connected as one. Our faith allows us to apply our philosophy to our lives every day. As we live in love, we see love revealed and flowing through the world around us. We act as citizens of the spiritual community at all times. This is how we think. We believe in God, we believe in ourselves, and we believe in you, because we believe in spiritual living.
Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Beaumont. Thank you, my friends, for having me and letting me fill in this spot this morning as we await the return of Reverend Liz. I'm happy to be here this morning, and I would like to congratulate you for being awake and aware on this Time Change Sunday. So give yourself a pat on the back for being here and being here on time and making that oh so smooth transition, right? So our theme this month for March is Open to Possibilities. And what I want to talk to you today about is living in the question, a high idea. Living in the question, a high idea. The theme for March is about the spiritual practice of visioning. Visioning is one of the spiritual practices for Centers for Spiritual Living Beaumont. And it's not strange, but it is interesting to note that when I was last in this sanctuary space, not counting the last time I was speaking, but last March I had just finished teaching the visioning class the week before everything kind of shut down. So we've almost come full circle, and I left here having taught visioning, and I am back on this stage once again teaching visioning. So it's interesting to note those coincidences, even though we know there are no such things. You know, with the way the world has been in the last year, it's hard not to miss the role that technology has had in our lives. It's kept us connected. It's allowed us to take classes and to meditate, to have conversations with our friends and families, to take classes. We can whip out our phone and order our groceries. Or, if you're like me, you can have your phone tell you a joke. So while I was doing that, preparing my talk, I just happened to ask my phone for a joke, and this is the one it told me. So why do you never tell a pun to a kleptomaniac? The answer is because they take everything, literally. So this month, we are going to be talking about this spiritual practice of visioning. And so for those of you that may not be familiar, visioning is a meditative, receptive process where we go within and we ask, what is Spirit's highest idea for my life? What is Spirit's highest idea as itself as my life? We open up to the divine impress of Spirit, to that divine and perfect intelligence that knows everything. We are constantly in this dance of our receptive mode, where we listen to the still small voice within us, and our directive mode, which we talk about when we talk about spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. But visioning is our receptive process, where we are going within and we are listening to that divine revelation. The first question of the visioning process, after we establish that we are surrounded by God, that we are surrounded by love, that we are surrounded by intelligence, is to ask the question, what is Spirit's highest idea of this class, or this workshop, or this conversation that I need to have, or this job that I'm thinking about taking, or this obstacle or challenge that I'm facing? So my question for you this morning is, what if we checked in with God? What if we checked in with Spirit just as much as we check in with our phones and our email and the news? We all have those situations in our life when we're not sure of what to do, or we want to get some outside perspective. And we call up our friends, we call up a practitioner, we call up our family, and you say, let me get some insight, let me get some input on this activity, this decision that I need to make. But what if, in addition to turning to our friends and our families, we also turned within and we asked, what is Spirit's highest idea? What is God's, love's, intelligence idea about this activity, about this decision, about this conversation that I need to have? As you heard this morning, one of our core principles of science of mind is that we so often hear, is that we believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the divine. We believe in the direct revelation of truth. That means there's nothing between us and God. There's nothing between us and that infinite intelligence, that infinite love that we call Spirit. We might not be able to be in close contact with each other at the moment, but we can live in close contact with the indwelling God. So when we asked this question, my topic today was about living in the question. Living in the question of what is Spirit's highest idea of itself as my life? we make ourselves available to infinite sources of wisdom and intelligence. But what does that mean? The highest idea. What is that? The highest idea is the inspiration, the idea that expresses the most love, that expresses the most life, that comes from a place of wholeness and oneness and integrity. It is that direct revelation that expresses life the most fully, that expresses love most fully. Science of Mind is the name of the philosophy that we teach here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Beaumont. And the Science of Mind philosophy teaches us that there is only one power. There is one presence, there is one source back of all things. Knowing that there is only one life, this life must be who I am. Therefore, I have the ability to allow this infinite wisdom to express through me by living in the question, what is Spirit's idea? We live from a place of curiosity. We remain open and willing to receive Spirit's highest vision of itself, expressing through any situation. It allows us to act from a place of divine guidance. Ernest Holmes' favorite quote that he's most famous for is saying that there is a power in the universe and you can use it. And of course, the second part of that saying is always, and there is a power in the universe and it uses me. Now, I want to be clear that visioning is not the same as visualization. In the spiritual practice of visualization, we see ourselves in the situation that we want to embody and manifest in our life. We see ourselves in the new car, in the new job, on the perfect vacation. This is a great tool for building your mental equivalent, for building your mental acceptance. But that's not visioning. Visioning, we are moving past our agenda, our ego, our limited sense of what is possible. And we move into that place where we consider infinite possibilities. If you're not sure which one you're doing, visioning or visualization, ask yourself this question. Are you asking the universe for what you want, or are you open to receive the fullness of life that you are? Set yourself free and loose yourself in infinite possibilities. Ernest Holmes wrote in the Science of Mind textbook, through spiritual discernment, we see that we have within us a power which is greater than anything we shall ever contact. A power that can overcome every obstacle in our experience. Spiritual discernment allows us to move past, to overcome every obstacle in our way. Because when we tap into that divine and perfect intelligence, when we tap into that oneness, then it's all God. And in God, there are no obstacles. So how might your life be different? If every time that you are faced with a difficult conversation, not sure how to do something, not sure which road to take, not sure what actions to take to overcome some challenge that's in your life, health, or financial? What if you took that opportunity, those 5 or 10 minutes, to simply go within and ask, what is Spirit's idea? Just like we would Google the answer or call up our friends or ask Siri on our phones for an answer, what if we tap into that infinite intelligence? What is God's highest idea? And if you know me at all, or if you've ever taken a class with me, or frankly heard me ever give a talk, you know I love questions. And one of the things I love about the visioning process is that it's based on inquiry, on questions. And the reason I love that is because when you ask a question, you are setting aside the idea that you already know the answer. You're opening up to an answer that perhaps you have never thought of before. You're letting go of all the assumptions that you're making, and you're simply asking the question. Questions open us up to something new. Inviting curiosity is a way of being how we live. We so often make assumptions about life, about the people around us. But what if we were curious instead? Rather than assuming, what if we asked the question? In that question, what is Spirit's highest idea of my life? This breaks us away from what we think we know, what we think the answer should be. Because if we think we know the answer, that's our ego. And the truth is, no matter what we think the answer might be, there is a greater idea yet. There is an even more loving, expansive answer. Are you willing to be surprised by what you discover about yourself? If everything is for our learning and growth, are you open to that learning and growth? Are you willing to be more interested in your spiritual growth than advocating for your limitations? When you make assumptions and you don't ask the question, you're living from a place of limitation. We learn through curiosity, remaining open to experience a shift in perspective, a heightened experience of life. Are you willing? There's been a lot of talk in the last couple of weeks about opening up. This has been a year, let's just be honest, this has been a year of contraction in a lot of ways. We've contracted inside to our houses. We've contracted away from our friends. We've contracted our sense of what is possible and what we can do safely. Perhaps we've even contracted from a place of fear and worry. But I wonder if it's not as important as we think about opening up, that we don't first open up spiritually, open up emotionally, to let go of that contraction, that fear, and that worry. What if, before we open anything up, we open ourselves up and we ask, what is next? What is God's idea what that opening up should look like? What is the highest idea? Perhaps it's time to do things differently than we've ever done before. As we emerge from this long winter and life starts to bloom again, let us also open to possibilities. Nothing is the same as it was a year ago. Perhaps it's also time for us to open up to new ideas, new ways to connect, new healthy habits, new commitments to support what feeds us spiritually. I just finished teaching a treatment and meditation class at the Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. And I saw this in the curriculum yesterday as I was meeting with my class. And I said, oh, that's perfect. I got to share that with Beaumont. This actually comes from Fenwick Holmes, who, if you're not familiar, was Ernest's brother. And oftentimes the more poetic brother. This is called the perfect vision of faith. The alliance with the unseen must never be forgotten. Where there is no inlet, there is no outlet. There is no river without a source, no stream without a rising spring. The fountain will not spray without the water. The ship will not sail without a breeze. Silent is the wheel without the belt. Powerless the car without the current. Dead is the lamp without the light. But linked with source, the river runs, the fountain sprays, the ship sails, the wheel turns, the light gives all to who are in the house. We must look up, move up, reach up, and then we shall be prepared to lift up. We must be in alliance with the unseen. In that day shall the supernatural forces seize us, possess us, sway us, and use us. Then, having become the inlet, we shall also become the outlet of all there is in God. The law gives back to us created what we think into it as vision. Let our visions therefore be high and true. Let them be glorified. The more perfect your vision, the more perfect your returns. The perfect vision of faith is the immaculate conception of the pure mind. The law, with infinite intelligence, will body the faith into form. Give yourself in faith to the highest visioning of your soul. And that is from Fenwick Holmes, The Law of Mind and Action. So are you living in alliance with the unseen? Are you a conscious co-creator with the divine? This week, as you go about your days, I want to invite you to challenge yourself to live in the question, what is Spirit's idea? At every opportunity. And so it is. And now I'm going to invite you to join me in the first steps of visioning for a short meditation. And so, as we just enter into this space, we recognize the infinite love that is God, the infinite intelligence that is the power back of everything seen and unseen. It is limitless love, limitless intelligence, perfect action, wholeness, order, and balance. I know that limitless love is right where each one of us is, right here and right now. Surrounding us, embedding us, pressing itself against us from above and below, and behind and in front of us. As we sink into that awareness of love, we simply ask the question, what is Spirit's highest idea for my life? What is Spirit's highest idea for my life? What does it look like? What does it sound like? Are there any images or colors or sounds that express this highest idea? And so we simply take this highest idea and we transition to a place of affirmative prayer, knowing that that Spirit which is God is ever present because it is all that there is. Knowing that that Spirit of God is who and what we are. We are the drop of the ocean. We are the ocean being a drop. We are the divine and perfect wave that is the action of God. God is all that there is, and we are one with it, in it, as it. Perfect, whole, complete, loving, intelligent, wise experiences of the divine. I know that as we open up to this divine guidance, this perfect intelligence, which we call God, that all of our actions in the coming week are guided and directed by love, guided and directed in perfect action and perfect peace from perfect wisdom. I know that whatever is needed this morning is present, and I speak my word for any person in this community where there is a perception of lack, a perception of limitation, a perception of anything less than wholeness. I know and declare and I claim right here and right now that God is present. And so that because God is present, there can be no lack. There can be no perception of anything but wholeness, abundance, beauty, wisdom, and grace. We simply open up a way. We become the inlet for God. And in so doing, we become the outlet for God, allowing that beauty, that balance, that abundance, that peace to flow in, through, and from us right now. I'm so grateful for this, knowing this, for this teaching, for this community where we can know and live this truth and be reminded, where we can practice consciously together. And I release this word into the law, knowing that my word does not come back to me void. For there is a law that reflects it back to me and to all whom I have spoken for perfectly. All that is needed, all that is claimed, all that is known. I simply give thanks and know that this time together has been perfect, just as it needed to be. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you for participating in our service. You can do online giving by texting GIVE to 951-420-6909. You can visit our website at cslbeaumont.org and click the donate button at the bottom or the top of the screen. Or you can mail your donation to Center for Spiritual Living, 802 Maple Avenue, Beaumont, California, 92223. If you enjoyed this service and are watching on YouTube or Facebook, please like and share this video and add a comment on it. If you haven't already on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and hit the little notification bell to be updated when we post new content. For those on Zoom, visit our Facebook page to comment and share to help spread this message.